Right, good. Today, okay, just a little review on what we did last time. So, last time we introduced the command print, right? And we also show how to run programs in Visual Studio Code. So the print function is one of the command to show anything, any data that we want to show the computer. So that's the purpose of print function. Okay, so have you tried one of the exercises? So if I want to show 4 hello worlds, okay, so let me go first to Visual Studio Code. Okay. I'll just have a new window for a while. Okay. So you can open a folder wherein you want to place all your code. So I'll just, for now, put it inside my downloads and I will have a programming class. And I will save it here. Okay. And then, okay, we click on the new file that there's a plus here and I say lesson number 1.py. Okay. And inside here, we write it. So if I want to show 4 hello worlds, then I can just say print hello world. Okay. And then copy it again for 4 times. Okay. And run it. The play button here. And here, okay, it doesn't show anything. I need to save it first. And then, okay, so I see 4 hello worlds. Okay, so each time we want to use the print, it will print whatever we write inside. Okay, so let's begin to our proper lesson. Okay, so this time, okay, right here. So we'll begin on how does the computer process data. So every day, every minute, every hour, we generate data or the whole world generate data. But how will the computer process it or organize it in a way that it will be faster and efficient? So today we're going to learn the basics on about data in the computer. Okay. So when we mean by data, what is data? Okay, it could be our name is our data, personal information is the data, or music is the data, video is the data, image is the data. So anything actually that we see on the computer is data. Okay, so just foremost, so data is information, facts, or numbers that you provide the computer, and the computer make use of this to analyze or make decision for processing. Okay. Okay. So we have 2 sets of data. We call input data the one that we give through the mouse, the touch screen, the keyboard, the microphone, and we have the output. So the output is the screen, the speaker. That's why you can hear my voice. What else? Okay. Printer, yeah, those are output information in the hardware, but everything right we see is an output. Okay, so usually when we give data to the computer, say we're signing up for a social media, right? Or any websites or any platform, usually they will ask for our data. That's the usual one. So they'll ask for our last name, first name, phone number, okay, password, and dates. And we need to choose which one. Okay, so the computer will try to specify it by splitting it into 2 types. One is numeric and one is alphabets. But since we have different type of data, so there are 4 basic types of data. One is integer, float, though both of them are numbers, right? But there is a difference between an integer and a float. So float is everything that has decimal. So if I say 1, which one is it? Integer or float? Or if I say 1.0, are they the same? 1 and 1.0?
Yes.
Oh, so sorry, I can. So, sorry, can you try to say it again? Is it the same or no? It's not, right? Because yeah. So the computer tried to distinguish this one. So if it's with decimal, we call it float, and like most of the data right now are string. So you know that that is a string, and this is the indicator. So if I say 1, 2, 3, is this a string or this is an integer? So this is still a string. As long as you will see a double quotation mark or single quotation, say 1.0, but you have a quotation, then that makes it a string. But without it, it is an integer or float. And we have here Boolean. So Boolean is just a true or false, or sometimes, or instead of using true or false, they represent 1 to be true and false will be 0, the numerical equivalent of true or false. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, so when you give the
Same,
yeah,
um, excuse me.
yes.
Is this same as command, right?
Oh, okay. So this is not a command, it's just like indicator what data is it.
Ah, okay. So indicator.
But the command to know
Mm.
what type of data. So in Python, the good thing about Python is that if you have data, automatically they will know what type of data it is. So if I say Sheila, they will know that that is a string. 10.5, then that is a float. But if you combine text and numbers and you place it inside quotation, then that makes it a string. But only numbers, then that's an int. Okay, so normally we don't need to identify them because Python will automatically know what type of data. But if we really want to know what type of data it is, okay, so we can make use of the function or command type of type. So inside the type, I want to know what is the type of 1, 2, 3. And I need to print it to show it. So I print the type of data 1, 2, 3. I want to print the type still 1, 2, 3, but I put quotation mark. And I say I print the type of still 1, 2, 3, but I use the dot 4. And I put print the type of true. Okay. And I save it and I run it. Okay. So you can see here that the type of 1, 2, 3 is integer, right? And we have string because there's quotation mark and float and the Boolean. So if it is false, then it's also a Boolean. Okay. So, but as I mentioned, we don't need to, it's a good thing we know it, but in Python, you don't need to specify it because automatically it will know what type of data. Okay. So now that we have data, how does the computer store it? So our data is stored by the use of what we call variables. So these variables are just what we call label. to store it. They're like, they're the container of our data. And with these variables, let's say, think of them as containers or boxes. And usually these boxes will have to fit a certain type of object. Because you cannot, for example, we can only fit maybe a certain type of objects in this boxes. So they cannot be like the same all the time. Okay. So you think of data that you want to store. So usually, let's say this is for my, let's say you're organizing on the room for beddings that belongs to the living room, to the kitchen, personal items. So you label them like that. So this is personal. Okay. So variables are also like that. You make a name to label and you store it on that variable. So for variables, we usually use the English words noun. And in here, we don't use spaces. You can combine alphabets and numbers. So for example, maybe you have a lot of boxes. So this is box number 1. This is box number 2. Box number 3. And then we use the equals to assign the value on it. Okay, so here's, for example, maybe skip. For example, okay. Oh, sorry. So for example, okay, when we want to store the data last name, so we can make a variable. Okay, I'm just going to share this. So we can make a variable called last name, or any English word, as long as maybe it's not a keyword, a command in Python. Okay, so let's say I use last name, but I cannot do like, let's say like this, last name. So if you observe, there is a red line. That means it's not allowed because we don't usually use space. So it's just a word. Or most of the time they use, maybe if it's a 2-word combined into one, they make it the uppercase. Or you can do last underscore name, as long as there is no space, or maybe you just say name. So it could be anything, and that you use equal sign, and you can say name. So what type of data are text? So it's a string. So I can say name Sheila, something like that. So I store the name. How about our phone number or email? So we can also label it as what are they called. So say email will be, let's say, Sheila at gmail.com. Let's say we have the phone. So phone, you can use phone, or if you want to specify a phone number, or really the correct spelling, that is okay. Phone number 0123, but here you're gonna start at 0. So it can be 1, 2, 3, 5. And many more. Okay, maybe the date. So the date today will be 07, not 11. Is it 12? Yeah, it's 12 and 2025. Okay, so this is how we make variables. Okay, so right now we store our data. So how do we show our data? How do we show that we have this name, email, phone number, date? So previously, okay, we learned the print. So we know that print just prints anything, any string, any object, any value or data. So we can make use of the print to print the variable. So there are different ways. So one is, okay, you can just print the variables itself. So you know that that is a variable without using quotation marks. So if I print my name, so print the name, I'll just comment, okay, not yet, okay. So we just write anything, okay. So we print the name. We print, let's say, the phone number. Okay. Phone number, okay. But sometimes, let's say you just print 12467 or Sheila. But what is it? All right. What is 12467? So we need to make sure to very clear that what are these. So still use a print function, you can combine a string text and a variable, and we can just use the comma to separate them. Okay, so this is our example. Okay, so inside here, let's say maybe we put together name and the phone number. So you just separate it with a comma. Okay, so right now, the name and the phone number. But what is really 12467? So if you want to specify, so we can say phone number. And in here, the value of the phone number. So right now, it's now clear that 12467 is a phone number. Or if you also want to very specify that, okay, this is the name, okay, comma, and the variable where we store our name. So this is the name. Okay. And we can also, okay, date. So date is, yeah, the value of the date. So any questions so far? With variables and data. And these are the different basic data types. And this is another way how we use the print. Okay. So you can just print the variable immediately. Let's say email here, and it will just show. But if you don't print anything, then we cannot see anything. So that's why print is really important to show something. Though if we still don't print it, actually this is already stored. So your name will be stored in name, email, phone number, and date. All right. Okay, what will happen if I say somewhere here that name will be Joe? Say Joe March. So we already have name in line 13, right? And another name in line 17. So what will be the name that will be printed out? What do you think it is? You can make a guess. Okay, very good. Yeah, so since the computer executes line by line, starting from the beginning, so if you can see, we print first hello row. So the data that was there before will be overwritten. Yeah. So the variables can be changed. And automatically, again, Python can know what type of data it is. So we don't need to specify what type of data. All right. So, okay. Okay, so yeah, we can combine. Yep. So if we have name, age, grade, and the date, okay. Okay, so we have here another function called input function, because when we sign up, usually when we sign up, we need to input it, right? Okay, my last name, first name, because not all the time that the name will be the same. Just I put that, I can change the name to whatever it is. So, okay, we have here a function called input. So it's a built-in function or command in Python that allows user to input some data and restore it in a variable. Okay, so this is the syntax. Okay, so either we can just use input or restore it specific to a variable. And to know what exactly that we're going to input, we can add some text. Okay, I'll show you an example. Okay, so let's say, because the name will not always be Sheila, it could be anything. Okay, so we can assign that, okay, in here. Okay, if you just use input, okay, you save it, you run it. So in here, the email, name, phone number are not shown. And maybe you will see a blinking cursor, and that means you can input something. Oh, I cannot do it here, so I'll just run the code by using this Python 3 lesson 1. Okay, so I can see like a square, and that means you can input. Okay, so I say Shiela. So you can type. And after this, so it follows. But if you just put it there, maybe you don't know what is it about. So we can specify that this is the name. And inside the input function, we can say, what is your name? Okay. That when I run it again, so it will ask me, what is your name? And I can input that, okay, my name is Sheila. And that right now, even though before is Sheila Abahog with the last name, only Sheila is presented because I changed the name to whatever you give here. Okay. So you can try, use the input, and you should be able to write on it. Okay, so if the play button does not work, you just go to terminal, click new terminal, and then type Python 3. And if you're in the same folder, just the file name lesson1.py, and it should ask here. Okay, so maybe we ask for the age. So age, input, okay, and you can also ask what is your age. And that, okay, when you run it again, so it will ask first for the name, your age, say 100, 1000. So yeah, now you store the value of age. And still the same, if you want to show it, then you're going to print it. Okay. So this is the input function. So the this. Okay. So in here, okay, we give data. We just store it to variables, or you can use the input function. And then to print out, we make use of the print function. Okay. So that is to process input and output. Okay, do you have any questions? Okay, so for the rest of the, okay, you can practice first on, okay, reviewing this. And okay, I have a exercise for you where in using input and variables, you can ask for information such as the last name, first name, phone number, and birth date. And for the birthday, you can separate it from year, month, and day. And after they input those information, then you're just going to show it in something like this manner. Okay, so you can practice with print function to show and show some variables, create variables to store data, and use the input to provide the data. Okay, so that's it for today. And on the next, we're gonna learn the different operators and specifically for math operations since computer can also do calculations.